Hey guys, so this is the Tozo T6 truly wireless earbuds. Now I have reviewed a number of Tozo products in the past and I have become a fan of their quality and the features they provide and the aggressive pricing. So once again, the Tozo T6 is priced at just $27 or less. So yes, these are pretty cheap, inexpensive, but they pack some interesting features. And I'm also going to give you the rundown on how they perform in terms of sound quality so that collectively you can decide if the Tozo T6 deserves a place in your pocket. Alright, so with that said, let's start with the unboxing. So the Tozo T6 comes in its usual packaging, nothing too fancy at all. Sliding off the outer cover, you get some paperwork, the USB charging cable, 6 pairs of different size silicone ear tips, and of course the Tozo T6 truly wireless earbuds in their charging case. Okay, let's quickly get the specs of the Tozo T6 out of the way. So these house 6mm dynamic drivers inside. They rock Bluetooth version 5.3. In terms of codecs, it supports both AAC and SBC. Now in terms of battery capacity, so each of the earbuds pack 40 mAh each, while the charging case has a capacity of 400 mAh. Now according to Tozo, the earbuds themselves on a full charge will give you 10 hours of continuous playback, actually 10 to 12 hours at 50% volume when you're using the AAC codec. So at 100% volume, you can expect around say 5.5 to 6 hours of continuous playback. Now coupled with the charging case, you get a total of 45 to 50 hours of continuous playback, which is pretty okay. Now the Tozo T6 are also IP68 waterproof, so yes, you can take them in the shower, you can take them when you're working out, so sweat and water and rain are going to be of no issue at all. Now obviously, while you can charge this charging case using the supplied USB-C to USB-A cable, what I love about the Tozo products is that they all pack wireless charging. So yes, you can place this on any Qi wireless charger lying around. So for me, I have a phone that has reverse wireless charging, so I just keep it on that and it charges just fine, and this is a very nifty feature. Now one thing I really appreciate about the Tozo products is that they come with a companion app called the Tozo app. Now this is a very polished app, and once you pair these earbuds to the app, you can customize what the touch sensitive area on the earbuds do on the left and right earbud. You can even choose from some preset EQs like rock, classical, hip hop, etc. Or you can tweak the equalizer yourself. And you get over-the-air firmware upgrades to keep these always up to date. Now in terms of the build quality, so these are pretty standard. It's a mixture of plastic and kind of this matte rubber finish on the side that is going to rest on your ear. So these are pretty comfortable and ergonomic, and even for long listening sessions, I had no discomfort at all. Now on the surface of the earbuds, this glossy area here, this is where you have the LED lights. And the surface above that is the touch-sensitive area with which you can perform all the usual functions like play, pause, answer and call, summon your voice assistant, raise the volume, etc. So you can do all these functions without having to take your phone out of your pocket. Okay, so now let's get into the main criteria, which is the audio quality. Now, if you're an existing viewer, you already know that I judge audio products based on how they produce the 3 main frequencies that broadly make up any sound that you hear: the highs, the mids, and the lows. The highs, or the treble, where the really sharp sounding instruments are, the mids, or the vocals, and the low end, or the bass response. Okay, starting off with the higher frequencies or the treble response, the highs were very well detailed with great control over the technicalities. Now for a truly wireless earbud of its price range, I would say that the Tozo T6 did a very good job when it comes to the richness of the higher frequencies, the details, and the control overall. So it wasn't sibilant by any means, and even for long listening sessions, it was quite pleasant. So the highs did a pretty impressive job. Next up, we have the mids, where the vocals are. Now the vocals sounded more or less natural without any superficial layer of sharpening or added clarity. But what I noticed was vocals of the mid frequencies were the weak spot of the Tozo T6, because compared to the other frequencies, the vocals sounded a bit recessed and not as empowered as the other 2 frequencies. It felt like the vocals need a bit more power to sound more rich and more deep, so that it overall could have sounded more immersive. So while it sounds neutral or natural for the most part, I wouldn't say it does justice to the vocal. So vocals, not that great, although it is audible. it's just not going to give you that immersive experience. Next up, we have the bass response on the low end. Now for a 6mm driver packed inside, the Tozo T6 bass response was mighty impressive. The mid bass slam was hefty and definitely packs a punch. It even gives you the rumble of the sub lows, which is impressive to say the least. However, even though it has a very hefty bass response, it tends to overpower the other frequency, namely the vocals, and that isn't always great. I know we bass heads love and lust for bass, but if it's too much and if it starts to creep into the vocals and makes it sound weak, which in itself is kind of weak, it just kind of takes away from the overall quality of the experience. And this was especially true when the track you're listening to is inherently bass heavy. That is where vocals take a hit and the bass overpowers the vocals. So while it is totally acceptable from a truly wireless earbud of this price range, it would have been great if the bass wasn't as overpowering, especially on the vocals. But hey, from my experience, from what I've seen people say, nobody minds too much bass, especially bass heads. They don't care if the vocals get eaten up so long as they are audible and the bass is really hefty. They don't really care. So if you fall into that category, you'll be impressed by the bass response. But for someone who wants a bit of balance between all the three frequencies, you might be a bit disappointed. Alright guys, let's just summarize. The Tozo T6 is a pair of truly wireless earbuds that are very aggressively priced and have a ton of useful features as well. This is ideal for someone who wants to use a pair of IP68 waterproof truly wireless earbuds on the go during their workouts or out in the rain, and it's just something very inexpensive that they can just throw in the backpack and use it on the go. It is ideally for casual music listeners who don't really care or are not really too much bothered about the overall sound quality, but just want something that sounds pretty decent and has a very good bass response. So for that, this is pretty good. Now, would I say that this is the best affordable truly wireless earbud out there? Absolutely not. There are a ton of options out there, but if you want to check out Tozo products and if you're a fan of their build quality and features, then the Tozo T6 can definitely have a place in your pocket. However, if you're willing to spend a bit more, then for me personally, I still prefer the Tozo NC7, which is something that I almost use on a daily basis. It is amazing. The sound quality, the features, everything, it's just a really good package. But that is again more expensive. So something inexpensive, super affordable, and sounds pretty decent, the Tozo T6 will do just fine. So there you have it guys, that was my unbiased review of the Tozo T6 truly wireless earbud. As always, I'll leave a link of this in the description below. I would really appreciate if you use that link to make your purchase, because that will help me run this channel and I can produce more such high quality and helpful content just for you guys. So thank you so much for stopping by. Make sure to smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, share this video with your friends, and as always, I'll catch you guys very soon in the next one. Cheers.